People thought they knew who she was. A quiet girl with a hood too big for her frame, a face that rarely lifted, and a tattoo etched across her neck that nobody could fully see. They whispered. They laughed. They judged her before she'd spoken a single word. But the day her hood came off, the day that tattoo finally showed, a decorated SEAL commander, a man who had stared down war zones without flinching, froze like a statue, his breath collapsing in his lungs. Because he had seen that mark before. Because it had once saved his life. Because the girl everyone mocked was someone he never thought he'd see again. And the truth behind that tattoo? It was bigger and heavier than anyone could have imagined. Mara Kepler walked through the base like a ghost. Every morning, she kept her hood up, hands in pockets, eyes low. She wasn't military. She was a civilian mechanic contracted to maintain naval vehicles. That alone made her stand out. But it was the tattoo peeking out from the shadows of her hood. Sharp lines, dark ink, a symbol nobody recognized, that made the mocking whispers start. Some said it looked like trouble. Some said it looked like a gang symbol. Some said she didn't belong here at all. Mara never answered. She just tightened the drawstrings of her hood and kept walking. Her only real company was the rhythmic hum of engines and the cool metallic scent of the motor pools. Machines didn't judge her. Machines didn't ask questions. They just needed fixing, and she fixed them well, better than anyone expected. Yet even her skill drew doubt. Where'd Hood Girl learn to do that? No way she knows this stuff legit. She probably watched some videos and lucked out. She ignored them, but it hurt. More than she let show. Because Mara wasn't hiding because she was ashamed. She was hiding because she was afraid of what would happen if she stopped. Her tattoo was not decoration. It was not rebellion. It was a memory, a promise, and a wound that never healed. One morning, everything shifted. A Black Hawk transport was being prepared for inspection after a malfunction report. Mara volunteered to check it alone. She preferred solitude. As she leaned over the open panel, she felt a presence behind her. Firm steps, heavy boots, and the subtle authority of someone who had lived more life than they ever admitted. Mechanic? A deep voice called. She stiffened. Everyone knew that voice. Commander Ryland Shore, 27 years Navy, veteran of 6 major covert operations, a man whose medals could fill a wall. Tough, sharp, unshaken. She turned slightly, but kept her hood up. Sir, what's the status? She hesitated. I need another hour. Ryland nodded. Carry on. He stepped back, but she caught the flicker of his eyes. They hovered on her tattoo, the slice of it barely visible beneath her hood. Something in his expression tightened. Puzzled. Searching. She looked away quickly. The mocking whispers had never touched him. He never fed into them. He had barely noticed her before, or so she thought. But now, it felt like he was looking for something. Something familiar. Later that day, during a mandatory full-base briefing, Mara stood at the far back of the hangar. The room buzzed with chatter. The fluorescent lights hummed. And the whispering about her started again, louder than usual because she was trapped in a crowd. Look, she's hiding again. That tattoo must be something illegal. But she can't even show her face. One voice rose above the rest. Harsh, mocking, fueled by arrogance. Hey, a girl, what's under there? Scared we'll see the real you. She flinched. For the first time, she clenched her fists. Ryland overheard. His eyes sharpened. He opened his mouth to intervene, but the moment was interrupted by a loudspeaker malfunction. A spark, a short circuit, and the sudden crash of metal scaffolding tipping from above. People screamed as the structure collapsed, right over Ryland. Mara didn't think, didn't hesitate. She leapt forward, grabbed him by his collar, and pulled him out of the falling metal with a strength no one expected. The room fell silent. Dust floated. Ryland sat on the floor, stunned. Then, as Mara knelt beside him, her hood slid off. The tattoo on her neck finally came into full view. A symbol like a wing made of blades. A coded mark. Precise. Deadly. Unmistakable. Ryland's breath caught. Because that tattoo belonged to one group. Only one. And the last time he had seen it. It was on the woman who saved his unit in Hellman 5 years ago. The woman who disappeared after dragging him from the fire. The woman he thought died that day. Mara, he whispered, voice cracking. His hands trembled. "It's you." And then, for the first time in years, Mara's eyes filled with tears. The room dissolved into an echo as Rylan pulled himself up with Mara's help. Everyone's eyes locked on her tattoo, but none of them knew what it meant. But Rylan did. The commander faced the crowd, voice thundering. Everyone out. Now, only when the hangar emptied did he turn back to Mara. "I thought you were gone," he said quietly. "They told me no one from that squad made it." Mara swallowed, her voice barely holding. "I was the only one who crawled out. I didn't want anyone to know." He studied her, jaw tightening with emotion. "That tattoo. It's the mark of the Fallen Six, isn't it?" Mara nodded. The Fallen Six, a classified special operations rescue unit. Invisible, unnamed, disbanded after a disastrous mission that left almost all its members dead. The survivors were granted anonymity for life, ordered never to reveal their identities or speak of the operation again. Mara was the youngest member, barely 23 at the time, a tactical engineer with a gift for mechanics and strategy. Rylan had never forgotten the moment she dragged him out of the burning transport vehicle, her vest melting, her face bleeding, whispering, "Stay awake, Commander. I'm not leaving you." That tattoo on her neck, she earned it in blood. It wasn't meant to be shown, but it also wasn't meant to be mocked. Mara sat on a supply crate, fingers trembling. "I didn't ask to be here," she said. "I didn't want attention. I just wanted quiet. A place to work. Somewhere no one knew my past." Rylan's voice softened. "So you hid." She nodded. "And let them treat you like an outsider, because you were afraid your truth would bring more pain." Her chest tightened. "I didn't want to be a reminder." Rylan shook his head slowly. "Mara, you're not a reminder. You're the reason half my team came home." Silence settled, heavy but warm. The next day, Rylan called an emergency assembly. Mara walked to the hangar, hood down this time. Not hiding, not afraid. The whispers began again, uncertain this time, no longer cruel, but confused. Rylan stepped forward, commanding the attention of everyone. "There's something you all need to know," he announced. "The tattoo you mocked belongs to a classified military rescue unit, a unit whose actions saved dozens of American lives, including mine." Gasps echoed. Rylan rested a hand on Mara's